The words crashed over me, a tidal wave of accusation disguised as polite inquiry. Mom, be honest. What happened to the $300,000 I deposited into your account? My hand, midair with Diana's meticulously prepared salad, stilled. $300,000? My mind whirled, grasping for an explanation that wouldn't shatter the fragile veneer of this perfect family dinner. $300,000, Thomas? I don't understand. My confusion was genuine, but the air in the room thickened with suspicion. Diana, usually an image of serene composure, was suddenly ashen. Her fingers, adorned with rings that likely cost more than my car, clutched her wineglass with a force that threatened to shatter it. The opulent dining room, usually filled with the gentle murmur of polite conversation and the soothing strains of classical music, was now filled with an oppressive silence. Sophie and Michael, my teenage grandchildren, oblivious to the brewing storm, continued eating, their youthful innocence a stark contrast to the tense drama unfolding around them. To truly understand how we arrived at this catastrophic moment, let's rewind the clock because an hour ago, life seemed deceptively normal. As normal as life ever was in the Thompson household. I arrived promptly at 6, bearing my usual offering, homemade apple pie, a dessert Thomas had adored since he was a boy. The sprawling, impeccably landscaped property in Westchester radiated wealth, a testament to Thomas's hard work and ambition. Diana greeted me with her customary air kisses and a smile that never quite reached her eyes. "Margaret, you're looking well," she said, although my sensible shoes and classic dress from Macy's clearly clashed with her designer wardrobe. "Thomas is wrapping up a conference call in his office, something about a major acquisition." She dismissed it with a wave, as if millions of dollars were mere pocket change. Thomas appeared 15 minutes later, radiating that same potent executive energy that had propelled him to unimaginable wealth. At 42, he had achieved the very life I had envisioned for him during those challenging years after his father's death. Success, financial security, a beautiful family. Yet, beneath the polished surface, I detected a deep-seated unease. "Sorry about that," he said, kissing my cheek. "A last-minute crisis in Hong Kong." We engaged in polite conversation over cocktails, exchanging updates on the children's activities and Diana's numerous charity commitments. Sophie was applying to Ivy League colleges. Michael was excelling on the soccer team. Normal family chatter, yet a subtle tension permeated the atmosphere. Now, seated in their extravagant dining room, beneath the shimmering glow of the crystal chandelier, I sensed that something had been building, a crescendo of unspoken anxieties. The frantic way Diana kept adjusting her diamond bracelet, the constant glances Thomas stole at his phone, and the knowing looks they exchanged when they thought I wasn't observing them. "Mom," Thomas began, his voice adopting the measured tone he reserved for board meetings. "6 months ago, I transferred $300,000 into your account. We discussed it over lunch at Rossetti's, your favorite little Italian restaurant." He produced his phone, scrolling through banking records. "Here's the transaction confirmation." My stomach plunged to the depths of despair. 6 months ago, Thomas had indeed taken me to lunch at Rossetti's. We had discussed Sophie's college aspirations, my immense pride in both grandchildren, and my heartfelt desire to contribute more to their future, given my limited income. But he had never, ever mentioned gifting me money, let alone $300,000. "Thomas, darling," I said, struggling to maintain my composure. "There must be some kind of mistake. You never gave me any money, and believe me, I would remember a sum like that." I attempted a light-hearted laugh, but it emerged as a weak and shaky sound. Diana's wineglass slipped from her grasp, shattering against the pristine marble floor in a cascade of crystal shards and crimson wine, a disturbing tableau of broken dreams and spilled secrets. "Oh my goodness!" she gasped, frantically trying to clean up the mess with trembling hands. "I am so sorry. I'm so clumsy tonight." Thomas stared at me, his eyes filled with an expression I had never witnessed before. It wasn't anger, but something colder, more calculating. "Mom, you need to be absolutely certain about what you say next. There are federal investigators looking into anomalies in my business accounts, funds that were transferred but never reached their designated recipients. His voice dropped to a near whisper. If you have done something with that money, if you have invested it, hidden it, or given it to someone, you need to tell me immediately before this escalates. Federal investigators. The room started to swim slightly, and I gripped the edge of the mahogany table to steady myself. Thomas, I swear to you, I have never received any money from you. Examine my bank statements. Look at my modest apartment. Does it appear as though I have $300,000 stashed away somewhere? Just then, the piercing wail of sirens filled the air. Diana's face turned a deathly shade of gray as the sound grew closer, culminating in a deafening stop directly outside their home. Thomas shot up, his chair crashing to the floor. They are early, he mumbled, more to himself than to us. Who's early? I demanded, but I already knew that the answer was about to materialize in their front doorway. The doorbell chimed, followed by a series of forceful knocks. Mr. Thompson, FBI, we need to speak with you and your family. The FBI agents were precisely what you would anticipate from a crime drama, only more intimidating because they were standing in my son's luxurious foyer, displaying their badges and wearing expressions that conveyed unwavering seriousness. Agent Sarah Martinez, a woman perhaps my age, exuded an aura of authority that compelled everyone in the room to instinctively shrink back. Her partner, Agent James Chen, possessed a physique that suggested he could lift a vehicle with ease. Mr. Thompson, we appreciate your cooperation, Agent Martinez stated, settling into one of Diana's immaculate white chairs as if she were completely at home. As we discussed on the phone, we are investigating a number of financial irregularities connected to your business accounts, funds that were transferred out but seem to have disappeared into thin air. The phrase, as we discussed on the phone, resonated in my mind, and another piece of the puzzle clicked into place. Thomas had known they were coming. He had orchestrated this dinner, this confrontation regarding the missing money, fully aware that the FBI would arrive. My own son had set me up. Now, Mrs. Thompson, Agent Martinez turned her attention to me. Your son asserts that he transferred $300,000 to your account 6 months ago. Our records indicate that the money left his business account, but it never appeared in any account registered under your name or social security number. I straightened in my chair, summoning every ounce of dignity I had acquired over my 68 years. Agent Martinez, I can provide you with every bank statement, every financial record I possess. I am a widow living on Social Security and a small pension from the school district where I worked for 30 years. If I had $300,000, I certainly wouldn't be clipping coupons and shopping at bargain outlets. Agent Chen leaned forward. Mrs. Thompson, money laundering is a federal crime. If you have assisted in concealing or moving funds to evade taxation or investigation, the penalties are severe, regardless of your age or circumstances. I haven't laundered anything except my linens, I retorted, immediately regretting the sarcasm. This was hardly the time for humor, even if the situation felt utterly absurd. I apologize. I am simply trying to understand how I have become embroiled in something I know nothing about. Agent Martinez consulted her notes. The transfer was initiated from your son's business account on March 15th. The receiving account was registered under the name Margaret Thompson with the last 4 digits of your social security number, but the account was opened using an address in Millbrook, not your current residence in White Plains. Millbrook. My heart began to race for a completely different reason. Diana's sister resided in Millbrook. Diana had spent her childhood there, still maintained connections, and frequently reminisced about the charming shops and farmers market whenever we visited. It was just 30 minutes away, close enough to be convenient, yet far enough to evade casual scrutiny. I glanced at Diana, who had been uncharacteristically quiet since the agents had arrived. She sat perfectly still, her hands clasped in her lap, but I noticed a subtle muscle twitching in her jaw, the same nervous tic she had developed since marrying Thomas 12 years ago, usually triggered by the arrival of the monthly credit card statements. Diana, I said slowly, watching her face intently. Didn't you mention opening a savings account for the children's future? Something about obtaining better interest rates at that small bank in Millbrook? Thomas looked perplexed. What savings account, Diana? We keep everything at First National. Diana's composure faltered slightly. I might have mentioned looking into options. Interest rates vary so much between banks. Her voice sounded strained, as if she were forcing the words out. Agent Chen made a note. Mrs. Diana Thompson, are you authorized to conduct financial business using your mother-in-law's personal information? The question hung in the air like a suspended sword. Diana opened her mouth, closed it, then opened it again. I would never, that would be identity theft. Why would you even suggest such a thing? But memories were surfacing now. Diana's insistence on managing the family's paperwork because she was more organized, her offer to assist me in setting up online banking after Robert's death, her request for copies of my important documents for emergencies, and her seemingly inexplicable knowledge of my social security number when the kids' school needed it for some grandparents' day registration. Agent Martinez, I said, I believe you need to examine very closely who actually opened that account in Millbrook, and more importantly, who has been accessing it. Thomas stared at his wife, dawning horror etched across his face. Diana, please tell me you didn't. Diana stood up abruptly, her chair scraping against the hardwood floor. This is ludicrous. I am not going to sit here and be accused of crimes I didn't commit. Margaret, I cannot believe you are throwing your own family under the bus to save yourself. The accusation was so twisted, so completely contrary to reality, that I almost laughed. Diana was trying to invert the narrative, casting me as the villain in a story where she had stolen money using my identity. But before I could respond, Agent Martinez dropped a bombshell that changed everything. Mrs. Diana Thompson, we have security footage from the Millbrook Community Bank showing you making deposits and withdrawals from the account in question. We also have copies of the identification you used, which appears to be a fraudulent driver's license bearing Mrs. Margaret Thompson's name, but with your photograph. The ensuing silence was so profound that I could hear the grandfather clock ticking in the hallway. Diana's face contorted through a series of expressions, as if she were cycling through various lies, desperately seeking one that would hold. Thomas looked as if he had been struck by a physical blow. That's impossible, Diana whispered. You must be mistaken. Agent Chen produced a tablet and swiped to a video file. March 18th, 3 days after the initial transfer, you deposited the funds and immediately wrote 3 checks. One to Premier Properties for $50,000, one to Diana Thompson, Designs for $200,000, and one cash withdrawal for $50,000. Diana Thompson Designs. I had never heard of that business before, but judging by Thomas's expression, he had, and he was far from pleased. I realized that this story was about to become far more intricate than anyone in that room had anticipated. Thomas's voice was dangerously calm when he spoke. Diana Thompson Designs. What exactly is Diana Thompson Designs? The way he uttered his wife's name made it sound like a curse. Diana was frozen, like a deer caught in the headlights, but I could almost see the frantic calculations whirring behind her flawlessly applied makeup. She was assessing, attempting to determine which lie would inflict the least amount of damage. Agent Martinez consulted her tablet again. Diana Thompson Designs appears to be a limited liability company registered in Delaware 6 months ago. The registered address is a P.O. box in Millbrook, and the sole proprietor is listed as Diana Thompson. She looked up at my daughter-in-law with an expression that suggested she had encountered this type of financial maneuvering numerous times. It appears to be a consulting business for interior design services. Consulting business? Thomas shot up, his chair falling to the floor with a loud thud. Diana, you do not have a consulting business. You do not work. You have not worked since Sophie was born. His voice was escalating, and I saw 17-year-old Sophie standing in the kitchen doorway, her eyes wide with confusion and terror. Sophie had always been my favorite. Not that grandmothers should have favorites, but she reminded me so much of Thomas at that age, inquisitive and intelligent, with a strong sense of justice that occasionally got her into trouble at school. Now, she looked like her world was collapsing, which I realized it probably was. Perhaps the children should go upstairs, I suggested gently, attempting to inject some semblance of normalcy into a situation that had spiraled completely out of control. No, Thomas said firmly. They are old enough to comprehend that their mother is apparently a criminal. Diana's mask finally shattered completely. Do not you dare speak to me like that in front of my children. I did this for us, for our family's future. Do you have any idea how precarious our situation actually is? Precarious? Thomas's voice cracked on the word. Diana, I earn over $2 million a year. We reside in a house worth $3 million. How is that precarious? Agent Chen cleared his throat. Mr. Thompson, our investigation suggests that your wife has been systematically transferring money from various accounts over the past 18 months. The $300,000 in question was merely the most recent transaction. I felt as though I was watching a film in which the plot continued to twist in unforeseen directions. Diana had not only stolen money from me, but she had also been stealing from her own family for over a year, utilizing my identity as a shield. Various accounts? Thomas's face had turned ashen. What other accounts? Diana finally appeared to realize that her situation was hopeless. Her perfect posture slumped, and she sank back into her chair, deflated. The college funds, Sophie's and Michael's college funds, some of the business reserves, the emergency account. Each admission came out quieter than the last. How much? Thomas's voice was barely audible. Agent Martinez responded instead. Our preliminary investigation reveals approximately $1.2 million moved through fraudulent accounts over the past 18 months. $1.2 million. I could not even fathom that amount. I had worked for 30 years as a school secretary and had never earned more than $40,000 in a single year. Diana had stolen more money than I could earn in multiple lifetimes, but the most unsettling part was what she had done with it. Premier Properties, I said, recalling the check Agent Chen had mentioned. That was one of the companies she wrote a check to. What is Premier Properties? Agent Chen swiped through his notes. Premier Properties is a real estate investment company based in Miami. They specialize in luxury vacation rentals in the Florida Keys. Thomas stared at his wife with an expression I had never witnessed before. Pure, unadulterated betrayal. You purchased property in Florida with stolen money. It's not stolen. Diana's voice rose to nearly a scream. It's our money, your money. I was investing it, growing it for our retirement. Those properties in the Keys are going to triple in value over the next 10 years. Using my mother's identity, opening fraudulent accounts. Diana, this is federal fraud, not some risky investment strategy. I had been relatively silent throughout this exchange, attempting to process the magnitude of Diana's actions. She had used my name, my social security number, my entire identity to construct a fragile financial edifice that was now collapsing around all of us. But something else was bothering me, something that did not quite align. Diana, I said, my voice cutting through their argument. How did you know the FBI was coming tonight? Everyone turned to look at me. Agent Martinez raised an eyebrow, clearly intrigued by my question. What do you mean? Diana asked, but I could see panic flickering in her eyes. Thomas said, they were early. You organized this dinner, this confrontation, knowing that federal investigators would show up. You were trying to make me look guilty. The room fell silent. Even Sophie, who was still hovering in the kitchen doorway, appeared to grasp the significance of my words. Thomas looked from me to his wife, the pieces falling into place. Diana, did you know about the investigation? Diana's hands were shaking violently now. I received a call from someone at the bank. They said there were questions about some accounts, that investigators might want to speak with us. I thought if we could just explain about the money, if we could show it was a family transaction. You were going to let me take the blame, I said, stating a fact, not asking a question. You stole over $1 million using my identity, and you were going to sit there and let me go to federal prison for it. You don't understand. Diana was crying now, mascara streaking down her face in dark rivulets. Thomas's business is struggling. The Singapore deal collapsed. The merger fell through. We are leveraged up to our eyeballs. I was trying to save us. Thomas grew incredibly still. What do you mean my business is struggling? Diana, what do you know about my business that I do not? Agent Martinez stood up, signaling that the situation was about to become even more complex. Her expression shifted from professional interest to something far more serious. "Mr. Thompson, are you saying you are not aware of the financial irregularities in your own company?" Thomas looked genuinely perplexed, which should have been reassuring, but somehow made everything feel more ominous. "What irregularities? My CFO manages the day-to-day finances, but I review all major transactions. Everything has been normal." "Your CFO?" Agent Chen consulted his notes. "That would be David Morrison." "Yes, Dave has been with the company for 8 years. He is completely trustworthy," Thomas said. But even as he spoke, doubt flickered across his face. Having discovered his wife's treachery, his faith in the trustworthiness of others had probably been shaken to its core. Agent Martinez produced another tablet. "Mr. Morrison contacted our office 3 weeks ago. He reported the discrepancies in the company accounts. According to his statement, someone with high-level access has been systematically transferring funds from various business accounts into personal accounts for almost 2 years. The blood drained from Thomas's face. "That is impossible. Only 3 people have that level of access. Me, Dave, and..." He stopped, staring at his wife in utter shock. "And Diana Thompson," Agent Chen finished, "who was added as an authorized signatory on the business accounts 14 months ago." I watched Diana's face transition from surprise to panic and finally to a kind of desperate scheming. She was still searching for a loophole, attempting to manipulate the situation to her advantage. It was both captivating and terrifying to witness someone's true character unfold in real time. "Thomas needed assistance managing everything," Diana said, adopting that saccharine tone she employed when trying to get her way. "You were working such long hours on the Singapore expansion. I was merely trying to alleviate some of the administrative burden." Thomas's voice was distant. "Diana, do you understand what you have done? This isn't just fraud, it's embezzlement. You could go to prison for decades." Agent Martinez cleared her throat. "Given the amounts involved and the sophisticated nature of the fraud, we are looking at potential sentences of 20 to 30 years plus restitution, which, based on our current calculations, could exceed $2 million. $2 million. I felt sick. Diana had destroyed her family's future and tried to drag me down with her. There was something bothering me. 14 months, I said, thinking aloud. "Diana, you were added to the business accounts 14 months ago, but you've been moving money for 18 months. How does that work?" Agent Chen flipped through his files. The earliest fraudulent activity involved the children's college funds, which both parents had access to. The business accounts came later as the amounts increased. Sophie spoke up. "Mom, you stole our college money." Her voice was small and broken. Diana turned to her daughter with tears. "Sophie, honey, I was going to replace it. The Florida properties will be worth so much more." "You secured our future by destroying our present," Michael said. At 15, he looked older, and the betrayal in his eyes was heartbreaking. "Mom, Grandma Margaret could have gone to prison for something she didn't do." I realized something that made my blood run cold. "Diana, you would have let me take the blame. But what about the business fraud? How were you planning to explain that?" Diana looked like a cornered animal. "I thought I had permission, that Thomas had asked me to move money between accounts for tax purposes. I would have played dumb and said I didn't understand. Thomas made a sound like he'd been punched. You were going to destroy my reputation, my business, my relationships with every client and partner. Diana, I could lose my licenses and certifications. I could be prosecuted as an accessory." "It wouldn't have come to that," Diana said desperately. "I had it all planned. We would have paid everything back with interest from the Florida investments. No one would have been hurt." Agent Martinez stood up. "Mrs. Thompson, we need you to come with us for questioning. You have the right to remain silent." As Agent Martinez read Diana her rights, I thought about how this started with a question about money. Diana's crime wasn't financial, it was personal. She'd stolen my identity, my good name, and my relationship with my family. The click of the handcuffs sounded more like a comma than a period. Sophie stepped back, and for some strange reason, the scent of cinnamon from my apple pie hit the back of my throat. Agent Martinez took a call, tilting her head away from the chandelier's glare. Yes, Premier Properties is linked to a Delaware trust. Authorized name, MT. She looked at me. We don't know which MT yet. Thomas rushed to his office computer, fingers trembling so badly he mistyped his password twice. Dave just sent me the access logs, he muttered, like the words themselves could hold everything together. On the screen, a string of late-night logins appeared, IP addresses bouncing between Millbrook and Miami. Diana flinched, her eyelid twitching. I don't know anything about IP addresses, she said too quickly to sound innocent. Sophie entered, holding a cardboard box she'd pulled from the sideboard. This was Mom's, she whispered. Inside was a notebook filled with consulting payments, interior design invoices, and an ID badge for Thompson Capital's office, bearing the name Margaret T. Agent Chen flipped through the notebook, stopping at the last page where a red arrow pointed to a single set of initials. DM. Thomas stared at it, lips parting, color draining from his face. Outside, another patrol car pulled up, and the landline began to ring. Insistent, unrelenting, as if someone was knocking on the door of an even darker secret. So, where does this all leave us? It's more than just about missing money, isn't it? It's about broken trust, shattered identities, and the shocking realization that the people we think we know best can hold the darkest secrets. This is a story about the deceptive power of appearances, the lengths people will go to for perceived security, and the devastating ripple effects of dishonesty. But hold on tight, because this is only the beginning. In Part 2, we'll delve deeper into the motives behind Diana's actions, unravel the mystery of DM, and discover the true extent of the damage to the Thompson family. I'm so curious to know what resonated most with you in this first part. Did any of the characters surprise you? What are your predictions for Part 2? Please share your thoughts, questions, and theories in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you and get a discussion going. And if you enjoyed this dramatic tale and want to find out what happens next, make sure to hit that subscribe button. That way you'll be notified the moment Part 2 drops, and you won't miss a single twist and turn of this complicated family saga. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.